What is it?
Anyway.
Hi, everybody. It's the Fleece and Harmony gang with Betsy, Kim, and Simone. And we're getting a little crazy because when you're watching this, it's going to be the 13th of December.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Friday the 13th.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, it's all good.
For Michelle, my sister Michelle, that's her lucky day, she says.
Okay.
Yes, so that's
Nice.
it. That's all about your mindset.
Okay.
Anyway, this is the Fleece and Harmony Woolcast, and it is episode 162. As I said, if you're watching it when it's being published, it is December 13th.
Oh,
Lots of stuff.
what's going on?
To be done. So, if any of you are subscribers to our newsletter, my little blog last week was about how December has the feeling of winding down and winding up at the same time. That's how I feel.
I think I'm more wound up than down.
You're more wound up?
Mhm.
Yeah? Okay. So it's all good. But it just seems like you have a deadline of December 31st, which I always thought after when I know that I'm going to miss it, that it's ridiculous anyway. It's just another January 1st. It's just the next day.
Number.
Yeah, it's an arbitrary number. But anyway, everything, it does kind of have a hard stop feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you're knitting Christmas gifts, it's winding up.
Yeah.
And I see we have a finishing year-end wrap-up on the agenda as well, so I think Simone's got a few words about that. Yeah. Okay. So as always, we'll start with what's going around the farm and the shop, and we've got some shop update. We want to talk about the sock make-along, which was fantastic.
Yes.
How many socks do you remember?
338 finished projects.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, excellent. And if you love socks, you're going to want to stay tuned for the shop update because Betsy's been working some magic on sock yarn.
Oh,
yes. Yeah.
I was like, I'm not making any socks. Sock yarn.
Yeah, sock yarn. And we're going to talk about the blanket again. And we have it here, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You have it here. Okay. And because some of you are probably where Betsy is, and that's doing the edging. And we've got all kinds of tips and tricks for you now because Betsy's done it.
Getting very experienced.
Yes. And I'm going to talk about we're going to talk about our projects, and we've got other fun things, and we've spinning and everything, and then the harmony part. I don't know. It's going to be a mystery. So
You never did like where we are. The
I
hole in
know.
the tree on the branch.
I know. I could feel you itching beside me. So here we go. This is the episode with being recorded in our yarn shop, in our whittling mill, on the sheep farm in Belfast, PEI.
I need that. It grounds me.
I
Every
know.
time
Like pleasure you
So I
receive.
know where I am.
I could feel her. She was like, "Go on, what is she saying it? What is she saying it?" Anyway, so the big news on the farm is that today, when we're recording this on Tuesday, our renovation started. Perfect time to start renovations again. Yeah, so he's tearing apart half of my house there already, right where my mom and Michelle is coming for Christmas.
Oh,
I actually do think
That's
it's
awesome.
perfect. Get the teardown done before,
Yes.
so that you go into the new year building and like,
Yes.
yeah, I
Yeah.
like that idea.
Once we get the dust cleaned up.
Yeah, there'll be dust for a while.
Yeah. So, but it actually is, this part is actually less dusty than when you start putting the gyprock up.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
All
that's
that sanding and
all
stuff
that
like
sanding.
that.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. That's really the worst part. So, so that's what we're doing. So and the rooms where we're demoing now is the rooms where Mom and Michelle are supposed to be staying.
Ooh.
So I warned them.
Yeah.
They still want to come.
Okay.
So,
Camping.
it might be insulation, plastic, and that's it. And then they'll have their bedrooms.
It
in there,
really
so.
is kind of like kids camp, the cabins, you know,
Yeah.
where they're just the
Yeah.
slat walls.
Yeah, we're back to the wood tent.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so it's kind of this is my excuse for not doing any knitting again for the next 2 weeks, and my fingertips feel like I've been trying to sand them off to rob a bank or something because they're so rough from we've been shredding paper because it seems like we thought that there was some use for Visa receipts from 1997 and bills from whatever. So we've been shredding paper, and then of course the shredder gets full, and I'm in there digging it out. So I've roughed up all of my fingers. I don't think I could knit anyway.
Oh,
because
muffin.
You got the
the
muffin.
fiber might stick in my fingers. Anyway, but you know what? The curious thing, it's been really like almost 3 weeks since I've knit a stitch, and now I'm missing it.
Okay.
So I think it's actually good because it was starting to become a little bit of a chore, but I will. Now I'm excited to
do
start.
it again.
And sometimes you need a break. You really, really do.
Yeah, it's hard though because you want to finish projects, and especially when you're running a knitting podcast, there's a little bit of pressure.
Just a little.
Yeah, just a little bit. But anyway, you just have to. Good lesson for everybody.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just have to take. So it's been really 3 weeks. I haven't even picked up my knitting needle. I tripped over my knitting bag and then I just moved it with my foot. I didn't even touch it then. Anyway, so luckily I have two great friends that do lots of knitting and crafting, and we can support each other as our All right, so that's really about it. But I did want to mention, because I don't know. I don't know if it's special for here in small communities or anything, but December is the month of, you spend a lot of time in community halls.
Yes.
Around here in December, because every weekend there's a craft fair somewhere, and these are little, they're not fancy, they're little craft fairs that people have been knitting for. Betsy's husband's making donuts
Yeah, he
and
did
going
donuts
to
this
community Christmas in the villages.
Yeah.
Yes, not the Murrays.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, that one was fun because there was a whole bunch of different businesses and little craft fairs and things like that, all on the same days.
Yeah.
So Friday and Saturday, and it was in both Murray River and Murray Harbor. So
Which are two separate
two
communities.
separate entities entirely.
And they don't like to be called the Murrays, but so it's but the villages is okay.
Yeah, Christmas in the villages.
Yes.
And it was great because, I mean, it makes it kind of a destination, and it gives it a really fun, festive feel because you hop from one to the other to see what, everybody has, and to catch up with faces you haven't seen for a while. So
we got home, and I said to Matthew, it was so great because we've been here on the island. We're in our 4th year now, and we've gone to the Christmas in the villages every year. The last couple of years, we wouldn't necessarily have run into people we know, but now that he teaches in that community, and Lucinda goes to high school where all of the kids get collected from all the smaller
consolidated.
So every building we were going into, there was familiar faces, and then I had 2 people actually spot me from this.
Oh, funny.
Maybe because they know Simone. So then I was like, now people know me because I know Simone. So it just felt so much
community.
more like, it felt wonderful.
Yeah, and it is a good feeling to be part of a community. And there was I'm a big CBC listener, and today they were talking about how isolating our lives have become because you do everything on social media and you don't even phone people anymore. You text them and text them sometimes to say, is it okay if I phone you? Which is ridiculous. They won't pick up the phone if you don't want it. But I actually have started calling people now.
Okay.
Because I'm just like, I want to say hi and whatever. And we always talk about Cooper's store, which is the store that's no longer owned by the Coopers, by the Paytons. And they just left the Cooper store because why change it? Because everybody around here knows buildings by what they were called 40 years ago.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's always going to be called Coopers. And anyway, you go there but it's great to have the convenience store there with groceries and everything. But it's a gathering place.
Yeah. We had a potluck at the church on Sunday, and I made the potato soup for the potluck straight out of Cooper's.
Yeah.
Everything I needed. Cheese, broccoli, taters, cream, you name it. It was all there. And I was like, this is something really special.
Yes.
I did not have to run all the way into town to get what I needed
Or
to
a big box
make a nice pot of soup.
Yeah, exactly.
It's perfect.
So I think all of us now buy groceries there now. I think so.
Yeah.
We go to the big grocery stores for certain things, but I don't think we buy, like Ken goes every day.
Yeah.
So
I go pretty well every day after work too.
Especially if
Yeah.
we run out of candy.
yeah, or cookies.
Or like a jug of milk, or just things like that too.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, and it's important. And it's when we knew that it might be going on sale, everybody was in a panic because it really is the heart of the community, and there are communities that had stores like that they started to kind of fall by the wayside, and then it really everything else seems to kind of get more isolating. So anyway, so that's it. So that's what's been happening. We're all busy doing things with the, like we said, the little fairs and tree lightings, but it got canceled because of the wind.
Yes. Yeah.
Shifted, right?
Yeah.
Shifted.
It's is it this Friday? I think.
Nice.
So it's the tree lighting, and they're unveiling the Fisherman's Memorial too.
Right.
So it's going to be a kind of to do at the wharf.
Yes. So that's nice. Good. Yeah. So and the wind was really something.
It was
the last week and a half.
Yeah.
It was really crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. Okay. So we're gonna start with the shop update this time. So Betsy, you want to talk about your jewel? So
it was joint effort between Simone and I. We both for quite a while now had been sort of mulling on, we want to add another sock kit. We have the neon sock kit. What can we do? We don't want it to be just the primaries. So we decided to embrace the jewel tones. And I think for both of us, this package holds a few of our favorites.
Yeah, definitely.
So we've gone with autumn birch. We've put in here for a bit of a yellow. There's fir for the green, a night without stars for the blue. Mulberry jam is kind of the halfway point between the amethyst brooch and the watermelon. So kind of to bring your purples and your pinks together.
Right.
And I am already dreaming about
very rich.
Yes, about like shawls that you could do with this. Yeah. It's just very rich. That's a good word for it. And they all show up lovely on the sock yarn. So it's on Point Prim sock. You get 100 yards of each of the colors. So was that 600 yards in total? And I think it's just great it's like a little play kit.
Yes, exactly. And the 100 yards is enough that you can actually do something with it. Like if you do stripes or things like that. So
you could do socks, or you could do shawls, or
sea glass tea.
Yes. I was going to say you could add it into sweaters. So very excited about it. I hope you folks enjoy it too.
Right.
And give it a try. And then we'd love to see what you're doing with it.
Yes.
Stick it up on the Ravelry and give other people ideas as well.
Right.
Yeah.
So we should say that A Night Without Stars, Autumn Birch, and Fir were existing sock colors on the regular skeins. And these three, the watermelon, mulberry jam, and amethyst brooch, are new, and they will be on the full-size skeins as well. And I don't know how amethyst brooch missed being on sock yarn, because it's one of our best-selling colors. And it's on every other base that we make, but we never made it on sock yarn ever available.
It was so that it could have its day today.
Exactly. Yes. So that's in the shop right now. The newsletter people. So if you haven't subscribed to our newsletter, I often preview things on the newsletter, and then we show it on the podcast after. So the newsletter people already know about the sock yarn and have been buying it.
Some have already gone out.
Yeah, exactly. So you can sign up for the newsletter from our website. So that's it. You might get some scoops every now and then. Yes. And also in the shop update, we have a couple of new books that came in. So
hiding under here?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just gonna use this for later. So we received our copies of Big Splash Knits. So Big Splash Knits looks a little bit familiar because it looks like the Saltwater series, but this is actually Shirley Scott on her own, and in kind of the same vein, she's taken patterns from. It's not so much historical preservation of patterns, but she's designed some things that are lovely. So you have hats and mitts and little other items in here as well, and the photography is great, like all of the books. So this is the new one, and it's by Shirley Scott. So we have those in Cheryl the Pearl. That's her name. Her nickname, yeah. We did receive our line of magazines, so
Yes.
they are in, and there's a lot of nice sweaters in this one. I don't think I'm going to do a slideshow because I kind of don't have time, but there may be one here. We'll just make a little break in case I do decide to do it. There. So maybe you saw a slideshow and maybe you didn't. Okay, this is the way we're rolling today. Okay, so that's it. We also did a, I'm reading the agenda and I said bog splash knits.
I saw that, but I didn't say anything.
Yeah, that's a different book. We have to write it.
I was like,
bog splash. No, big splash knits.
Autocorrect is not your friend today.
No, I know. And we did have a jewel. So jewel is the jewelry that we carry for knitting. So there's shawl pins and things like that. But they had these beautiful little clasps as well, which I'll show a picture of here. And so we've restocked our jewel selection. So you can check that out. I'll have a link down in the show notes so you can
I'll
check
have to
out
have a
jewel.
look. I'm sitting here hearing clasps. I need to look
Yes,
and see.
yes. We had them before.
Okay.
Yeah, but I just had a few packages, but they sold out right away. So we
That's maybe
restocked
why I
them.
didn't really see them.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so I think that's it. And we have the final installment of any talk about the sock make-along that happened that ended on December 1st.
Yes.
And Simone's been managing that. And we have 3 winners,
Yes, we do.
random winners.
So we were really surprised. There's 338 total finished projects. That's amazing.
Yeah.
People were really, really keen sock knitters, and it was great to see so many varieties of socks knit and the enthusiasm that people showed for this. So without further ado, our first place winner is Sandy Sirrett. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. I'm going with the Ravelry names here. With post 120. Number 2 was Yummy Girl, post 200. And number 3 was Char Moser with post 293. So congratulations to all 3 of you. We've been in contact through Ravelry Mail. So if you haven't gotten anything from us, check your Ravelry Mail, not your email. And we'll be able to get your prizes to you. Yeah.
So the first place winner won 3. So you choose single patterns from Ravelry and we'll gift them to you.
Yes.
So the first place winner got 3.
Yes.
The second place winner got 2, and the third place winner gets 1.
Yep.
The first place winner responded, but
Yes.
only chose 1. So you need to choose 2 more patterns.
And she did respond again.
Oh, did
so,
she?
yeah.
Oh, okay, good. Okay.
We'll
So-
get those off to you right away.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
And have we heard from the other 2 yet?
We haven't heard from the other 2 yet.
Okay.
Yeah. So hopefully they're watching.
So Yummy
and-
Girl and
Char
Moser.
Yeah.
Then let us know what patterns you want.
Yes.
Okay. Excellent. Well, that was a big success, I think. It was great to see all of those different types of socks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got me kind of percolating with some sock ideas of my own, what I want to add to my collection. My Ravelry queue got longer.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You're watching the pictures and you go, oh,
I could use those.
Those are that.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Excellent. All right. So now we're going to talk about the blanket.
Sorry if I'm shifting a lot.
That's
This
okay.
chair has lost its springs.
Oh, really?
So I
Are
feel
you
like
sinking
I'm
down in
sinking
the middle?
down. I'm trying to figure out, do I sit up tall or do I just go with it?
We'll see by the end. When I'm doing the editing, I'll be able to see.
If you end up with your knees around your chin, there's a problem.
Yeah, exactly. Or on the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so the blanket. So if you missed the last episode, we gave out the December block early because people were starting to panic. There are actually people that are knitting it right on time and want to gift it for Christmas. So we gave the December block early. So I'll show a picture of it in case you missed it. The 2 blocks. There's the pine. Did you call it pine?
Pine cone.
Pine cone and pine for Christmas. Yes. Betsy's block. So, and Betsy sewed it together. We showed this on the last episode as well. And now you're doing the edging.
Now I'm doing the edging.
So you had one edge done in the last episode.
Yeah, and I now have the bottom. So I did top and bottom to start. And those are complete. So there's the top one all along there.
So nice.
It's gorgeous.
Yes.
And then I have started the vertical side. I think it's over on that side there. So I
Okay.
haven't tacked it down yet. So I just...
Oh, so you finished the knitting though.
The knitting is done. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for the second time.
Yeah.
So I was going to say, even if you're starting now, I promise you have enough time to do the edging before Christmas.
Yeah.
Because I'm doing it more than once.
Yeah.
I learned along the way. So I am not an expert in picking up stitches. I really have not done it very often. The button bands that I've done in life are, I'm going to call it an applied button band. So you knit it first and then you sew it on.
Oh, okay.
So I really have only ever picked up a few stitches here and there, like 3 to a dozen kind of at most.
Yeah.
So this was a new experience for me. So I just got going and I didn't consult Kim or Simone, and I just picked up every stitch vertical. And then I went to sew it down and the whole thing was all...
A ruffle.
Yeah. Because I didn't think about the fact that when you are doing it on the side now, my stitches are opposing. They're no longer just lining up. They're opposing. So your row gauge and your stitch gauge for most of us is not the same, and definitely not for me. So I had to rip that all back. And the way I figured it out, because again, still too stubborn to consult the experts, I just measured my gauge from the top one and went, okay, how many stitches are in an inch? And I figured out what it was. And then I picked up that based on how many inches the blanket was. Then I came and told Kim all about it. And she's like, oh yeah, there's actually like a pretty common formula for that. For that. So we have it figured out now. So when we get the PDF out to you, we'll make sure that that's accurately in there. And you can explain what the actual formula is, because I just went with my gauge.
Yes. So as it turns out, Betsy figured it out and picked up a number of stitches. So, and it turned out that the way you figured it out was exactly what the rule is.
Yeah.
But the rule for in general, if you pick up out of every 4 stitches that you have in the row, for every 4 rows, you pick up 3 stitches. And then in this case, Betsy reminded me that you can't just do like 75% of the stitches. You should be picking up a stitch in the groove,
in your seam as well.
In the seam on both ends of the block. So she came up with picking up 60 stitches. And when I did the formula, 75% of the pattern stitches, I came to 60, 57.
Yeah.
And then you would add a stitch in each edge of the block, and you're at 59.
Yeah.
So almost you did it on your own. Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
And I'm going to fully admit, there is in theory 60 stitches per square, but some of them might have been one extra or one less, just because I was like, oh, I'm not going to rip this back. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it looks really, really good. Yeah. So what will happen at the top here? These match exactly. So it'll just be
I'm just going to do a very neat either whip stitch that you could see on top, or I'll do a type of sewing stitch, kind of like a mattress stitch that will just pull them together.
Okay. Yeah. Because they're exactly, you gave that tip last time, is that you want to do the opposite edges first and then the other, and I can see why, because this could get kind of confusing.
It would if you haven't, it would be off.
Like, exactly. That was a good tip. Okay, so almost there. I'm hoping that by the time you guys are viewing this, I'm just about to cast off the second side. Okay,
that's
excellent.
My hope.
Yeah,
but we'll see. That was my plan last week.
Yeah.
Oh, did you want to talk about the stitching down too? Again.
Oh, the whip stitching?
Yes.
Yeah. So what I did then, so here you can see that it's rolling. We do add that purl line in so that it folds nice and beautifully.
Yeah.
And then I whip stitched it to it's not really a cast on, but to the edge of the square, so that the two sides
we'll take some photos
come together, nice and neat.
Yeah. It's very neat.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And you didn't use one full length of yarn to do that.
Oh,
you broke
right.
it into several
I broke
pieces.
it into like about a yard at a time. Just true to anyone who does stitching, every time you pull that thread through, it is weakening a bit. So if you try to do a length of the whole thing, you're going to get massive tangles, and your yarn may actually weaken to the point where it might just break on you from running it through the friction so many times. So I use about yard length
at a time.
Yeah. And then you just start back a few stitches from where you finished, and then you just weave those ends in.
Yeah,
I don't tie them off or anything.
Oh,
yeah.
No, okay. You don't even see anything. It's gorgeous.
Perfect.
And because you have a fold over, even if you want, you can just, because this here is doubled, you can just tuck them right inside of that.
Oh, little sandwich trick.
Yes.
Sandwich trick.
Yeah.
Okay, it's gorgeous and it's very...
It's so cozy. My house is not the warmest house. We're working on it, insulation, but sitting with this on your lap.
No,
I actually had the fire going and this on my lap, and I was like, Scout, that's my little buddy who sits at the fire with me, my little puppy. I was like, we got to move because I can feel my face is starting to get a fire tan.
Yeah, it's really lovely.
Yeah.
Okay, great, Betsy. All right, so we'll take some
pictures.
pictures.
A beautiful friendship project. So I think it's lovely.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Yeah. Okay. So now all of the downloads are available. And what we're going to do, we have had some requests for a PDF with all of the blocks in it. Mm-hmm. So what we're going to do is the free downloads will be available until January 31st. Mm-hmm. So if you haven't downloaded your blocks yet, you will have till January 31st to download them for free. Then Betsy and Simone are going to create a pattern with the whole blanket, including the instructions on how to do the edging and everything. And that'll be a PDF that will be for sale. So we'll sell that on Ravelry, and the proceeds will go to Betsy and Simone.
Oh.
Because you guys did all the work. So if you want to order the pattern all in one PDF, then you'll be able to do that. There will be a charge. And the free one ends on January 31st. So fair warning. Okay. So then, so that's great. So you'll be able to finish up and have one big pattern if you want, or whatever way you want your patterns to go. So we will be working on something else to do.
That would be perfect then for if you want to purchase your pattern, hand it to your favorite fastest knitter and say, you can make this for me.
Yes! Perfect.
Isn't that how patterns work?
Yeah.
You're supposed to hand it and say, make this.
I've heard that happening in the store. Yeah. I think the one person was saying, choose something, and she was thinking like a hat or a mittens. Right. And they said, can you make this for me? And it was a colorwork sweater, and it was like, okay, now you're pushing it. Yes. Okay, so that's the blanket, how the blanket is going to go. All right. So I want to talk about another blanket, the Wallflowers, and I've been thinking a little bit about we're all talking about supporting local and support what you like and support what you love and everything, and there's been a lot of that in the kind of crafting community right now. So I agree, you should support what you like. Yes. So we have a good amount of viewers that are watching the episodes every 2 weeks. So I would say that if you enjoy watching our episodes, then please subscribe to the channel, because that makes a big difference for YouTube to help us grow on our YouTube channel. And sign up for our newsletter, and you'll get. I only send it out once a week on Fridays at 2:30 Atlantic time, to be precise. And that's it. You'll have a little bit of news. I do a little blog, and then you can see what we have in the shop. And I had a call from Sue Matten from the Mercery, and she was thinking about supporting as well, and wanted to know if we wanted to embark on an affiliate relationship together. So I love what Sue does. And when I was doing the Wallflower, which is still not done, but that's my year-end roundup. It's not a sprint.
Speed,
yeah.
No.
So in case somebody hasn't seen it, this is my Wallflower blanket, and this is an online class that Sue puts on. I see Vinny's been around this too. And it's just, I when I was talking to Sue about the affiliate thing, I was saying, I can remember when I was first starting it, that the email would come at I would open my eyes at 7:30 on, I was a Thursday or a Friday or whatever. And when the email from her popped in and it was the next lesson, I would literally jump out of bed to go and do it. So it's just a beautiful, beautiful project. And Sue has done a fantastic job. She uses a lot of felted tweed. So I've always been one of her stockists that she advertises on the class, like to say that you can buy your felted tweed because we carry every color. Every color. So no picking around trying to find your colors. And we have it in quantities. Like I can't carry sweater quantities. So anyway, Sue approached me and she said, we're thinking about doing an affiliate program and we thought about you if you would want to participate. And I said, sure. How do you do it? I'm not doing any commercials in my podcast. She said, no. She said, it's just something to recognize the support that you've given us, because it's now been, because I'm so slow, it's now been what, 3 years? Two and a half.
You're headed into your third.
Okay, yeah. And Betsy did the Wallflower blanket.
Yeah.
And it's just something I can really get behind. So we have a link now that if you, the classes are starting for the next Wallflower session in February. Yeah. So if and you can sign up now because they're just getting ready. So they'll launch in February. So if you click on the link from Fleece and Harmony that is down in the show notes, or I'll post it somewhere so you'll be able to see it. If you click through there, then I get a little thank you from Sue. And we're also going to do it for the Homage to the Granny Square. So this blanket is a little bit, if you're an adventurous beginner crocheter, you can do it. Yeah. You can do it. But if you really want to start with something that's a little bit more beginnerish-y, I guess, but just as beautiful, it would be the Homage to the Granny Square pattern.
And then I'm going to do what Sue considers the advanced, which is the Tessellation Nation. Yes. I believe her classes for that one are full this round. But you'll at least get to see it, because I did this one. So I should have my skills to do it.
Right.
So
So
you're eyeballing it this morning, and I'm really excited to see how it all comes
I got my
together.
first email just to kind of get us ready. It starts in January. And oh my gosh.
So we don't have a link for that one actually, because it's already full. And Sue says that it's really, you really need to know how to crochet to do that one. That one is and more advanced, much
Which
more
you keep
advanced.
saying that, and every time it makes my stomach nervous, and then I have to remind myself, no, I am.
You are a crocheter.
I am a crocheter.
Yes.
It's all good.
So you'll have two links down in the description. You'll have the one for the Homage to the Granny Square. So if you're a new crocheter, and I've showed a picture of the Homage to the Granny Square here somewhere. If you're a new crocheter and you want to really start to do something that has a wow factor, the Homage to the Granny Square is gorgeous. And Granny Squares are showing up everywhere now. Because you've done the Jethro cardigan or are working on it, and it just seems like they're everywhere.
My neighbor actually started a project and finished it, and it's a full Granny Square cardigan. And she did the crochet grouping and everything. She sent me a picture yesterday.
So
I was gonna say, I have to say, and Sue's tutorials are fabulous. So even if you are a beginner, I would say those tutorials are really good, and they're video tutorials, so you can slow them down. You can watch them as many times as you want.
And she does right-handed and left-handed.
Oh wow!
That's awesome. No, it's awesome. So links in the show notes to if you want to join the Homage to the Granny Square, which also starts in February, or the Wallflowers. You can click on our links that we have, and we'll see what happens. And I'll finish this. And I did actually sign up for the Homage to the Granny Square too. So
I love it.
What's going to happen is you're going to start that, and you're going to be like, oh, this is so easy. You're just going to whip along with that. And this poor little guy is going to have to wait.
No. I have to finish it because it's for somebody. So we had a kind of a funny conversation because Sue obviously knows that I haven't finished my Wallflowers yet. And we always joke about it every time we talk. Or she was at the Fiber Festival, we were chatting, and she goes, did you finish your Wallflower? No. And she goes, well, there's no rush. And I said, no, I'm not. I know there's no rush. Anyway, so they sent me the first week of the Homage to the Granny Square because they said, here,
you should get started.
You should get started.
No rush, no pressure, but you really ought to start now.
I said, well, it doesn't start till February. She said, yeah,
Yeah, but this is for you, kid.
Yeah. So I may show her, I may not. But anyway, we had a good laugh.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
She even offers alternative learning programs.
Yes. Not really. But anyway, so help us help each other. Okay. Anyway, I think she knows me.
Yes.
Yes.
You're a busy lady.
She knows me like she knit me or crocheted me. Okay, so that's it. So anyway, all I can say is that if you do want a great project, then and you want to try crochet, then that's something that can help you.
Yeah.
All right. So now I have no idea what Simone wants to talk about. I just wrote it down on the agenda because it was on the paper. We keep a list of things as we think of it during the weekend. So Frivolous Christmas Eve cast-ons.
Yes, it's a thing.
Okay.
So, and it kind of goes hand in hand with the next topic, so we could kind of mix it all together, which is end of the year wrap up crafting.
Yes.
So a lot of times people around this time of year want to finish up what's on their needles, so that they can just cast on something fun for Christmas Eve. And a lot of my knitter friends seem to be these people where they're like, Christmas Eve cast-ons, Christmas Eve cast-ons. So Betsy and I have been thinking a little bit about it, and I'm thinking that I really just want a frivolous knit, just something fun. And
What would that be?
I was going to say, what falls into that category
Yes.
for you?
Yeah.
Well, I was kind of thinking the plumped up cowl.
I thought you would say
Yeah.
that.
I don't even know what that was.
It's a pattern by Andrea Mowry that just
Okay.
came out, and Betsy and I were already looking at yarns and ideas this morning, trying to plan it out so that we're prepared for a frivolous Christmas Eve cast on.
Okay.
So it's Plumped Up Cowl by Andrea Mowry, and it's brioche,
Okay.
which I've never done.
Okay.
And
Color
for
brioche.
the most part, I've been like, I don't think
Two
I
color.
really-
Two color.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't. People always talk about how hard it is, but this one actually made me excited because it's so. Oh, we didn't say what we were wearing. We'll have to talk about that.
Yeah.
Because it looks promising to be like when she says
Very
plumped up,
squishy.
Yeah.
she
Oh,
means
okay.
it. So 'cause I
Okay.
think it's like Aran weight,
No, bulky.
bulky,
Oh,
bulky weight.
yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we're trying to figure out, what yarns we potentially want to use, and if we want to make it even bigger.
Yeah. Go big or stay home.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
which
cool.
because we're talking about her, we might as well do the run across of what we're wearing.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. 'Cause-
So I'm wearing Framed by Andrea Mowry. I finally finished it.
Yay!
Yeah. And
Finished
I'm
object.
very happy with it. I'll talk more about it whenever we get to our projects.
Yeah.
But, yep.
And you're wearing an
I'm also wearing an Andrea Mowry.
Right.
It's Andrea Mowry moment today. The shift cowl.
And I'm wearing Emma, which is a Cocoknits design, and it comes out of the Cocoknits workbook, which I have here. So I only have one left in the shop, so if you want it, you better get it. That's right. And this book has a lot of different designs in it, and this was the one that I chose as one of the first ones, and it teaches you how to use her Cocoknits method,
Nice.
where you have these shoulders that are not set in because it's top down in the round, but yet they look like
Looks
they
are.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the trick with the
Okay.
Cocoknits. And we also have the Cocoknits sweater workshop journal, which actually just has more worksheets on. You map out your sweater on a worksheet with this method, and so you can use a workbook to keep track of all your measurements and where you put your stitch markers, because it follows a stitch marker plan for this. And this is knit in Signature Aran in Vineyard, and which is kind of feels like it's kind of bulky, but I have to say, one of the most gorgeous sweaters that I've ever seen knit was a customer came in, and it was her, I think it was her first sweater that she knit. So she bought the book, and she said, I want to do the same one. And she started doing it on a thicker yarn. And then she came back to me and she said, it's really not my thing. So she said, I think I'm going to do a finer yarn, and I want to do something a little bit different. I said, okay. So she made it out of Selkirk worsted with one strand of kid silk haze.
Oh.
And it was gorgeous. She did such a wonderful job. And so Karen, if you're watching, I'm still thinking about that sweater. Anyway, so it's just, it really made it look fancy. Like
Yeah.
I wanted something casual
Yeah.
and just kind of like an easygoing kind of sweater, which is exactly what I got. But when you knit it in a finer yarn and then she put the kid silk haze with it, it's actually like you could wear it out for the evening. Yeah, it's just gorgeous. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. So I jumped us away from the Frivolous. We can go back to the Frivolous and the wrap up.
Yeah. So I don't really know what else to say.
Okay.
We talked a lot about it just between the two of us, and it's all kind of
Just pick something that you wouldn't normally knit, or a
Or
yarn that
just
you wouldn't normally use.
actually something
that's
just
for fun.
because. And Betsy and I don't typically knit with like bulky weight yarns. It's not usually our go-to
Right.
choice. So this kind of feels a little bit,
Okay, so the only problem I have with a Frivolous Christmas Eve cast on is, what about the chocolate that's on your fingers?
That's why you say to Ken, "Hey, honey, throw it in."
Or that you throw those trees or something.
That is a dangerous game to play in your house, because I am pretty sure Simone and Ken have been playing Monkey in the Middle with Vinny for a couple of weeks now.
Yeah.
So Vinny is definitely going to try and get in on that.
Yeah,
one.
exactly.
No chocolate for Vinny.
Yeah. So I'm thinking of, because we usually have like a little charcuterie plate on Christmas Eve and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I'm eating on Christmas
Oh, I'm
Eve.
eating too. I'm eating
And then
too.
you can knit, and then you can
Oh,
have
okay.
a napkin. Just use a napkin.
Okay. All right. All right. And are you going to plan
Well,
a Frivolous cast on?
I'm more on the other side, so I'm probably not Christmas Eve,
No.
because I get really stuck on the wrap up part
Okay.
of the end of the year. You know
Yes.
me and my like goal oriented,
Right.
task oriented. I really want to go into the new year with as few things on the needles as possible.
Okay.
So the last couple of weeks, which you're going to figure out as we move towards our projects, I start zoning in or honing in on like pick a project and finish it,
Yeah.
then move to the next one and finish it. So I really try to knock things off my needles
Okay.
before I go into the new year.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's the
That's
process.
my wrap up part.
The
of
process.
it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I've been good to do that lately as well too, because I've gotten a couple of larger projects completed, and it feels nice. And there's my snowflower scarf, which I will also like to get into. Again, get some progress going there, and that kind of thing. But I also have some have-to knits.
Okay.
So like our mitten bag just gets empty.
Yeah.
So I live with 3 little kittens, and they lose their mittens all the time.
Yeah.
So
Not too
you know,
little anymore.
yeah, I kind of feel like that stereotypical tradesman, the mechanic with the crappy car,
Yeah.
or the electrician with like no light fixtures in his house,
Yeah.
because I'm the knitter and I don't have any mittens.
Yeah.
The cobbler's children have no shoes or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, holes in their shoes. Okay, all right. So you're wrapping up.
Yeah.
You're doing Frivolous.
Yeah.
And I
That's
should
good.
clarify, it's not because I talked last week about, the fear of being an unfinisher. It's not that. It's actually so that when I start a whole bunch of plans, which I have for January, they just feel really good.
Yeah.
And if I do that without finishing these others, I quickly lose interest.
Yeah.
There's nothing hanging over your head.
exactly.
Like carrying
Right.
baggage forward.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's the December thing.
Yeah.
That's wrapping up or winding up and winding down at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we'll just go to the projects, which we already kind of talked about, but you finished your shift.
Yeah, I did. So I love that. I'm going to take it off so I can kind of hold it up. I love the pattern.
Okay. So now it makes sense.
Yeah, how it gets seamed together at the
Right.
back there. Love the pattern. Loved how the colors played together. The yarn here was some stash yarn that I'm not even 100% sure what the content of it is, but it is definitely not plumped up yarn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I was a little bit disappointed. I cheated today by adding a couple of collars to have it sit on.
Oh,
On
okay.
Sunday I wore it and I just had a V-neck and it just all fell very limp.
Okay.
And I think that's because I did not use the called for yarn. The yarn I used is probably a little thinner than what's called for. I think looking at it, my gauge was probably a little too open. And in general, it's just a thin yarn, and drapey. So it just doesn't have the life that I wanted it to have. So now I feel like I have to stack it up on some supports to
Right.
get that kind of
Right.
full
And we
look.
talked about this because now you have to have the wool yarn.
I do.
It's
I
soft.
do. Yeah.
So, you're soft,
but I still need
yeah.
it to have some body. So
Yeah.
this is, I think it's a sock yarn that does have some nylon in it. I can't remember the exact amount of it, but I'm thinking it's enough that it really did play down some of that yarn's life.
You could probably superwash wool too if it's a
Probably.
soft yarn. So
I can't remember exactly what it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, I love the soft. So for me, it becomes the challenge of finding the soft yarn that still has structure. So I mean, our Selkirk worsted is fantastic at it, which might be my problem.
Yeah.
I have used a lot of our worsted. So so I just want to do more in this shaping. It doesn't have to be the shift.
It's really smart, isn't it?
It is. It's really a neat idea. And I never went back and fixed that mistake. There it is.
Oh.
So now we're just calling it a signature.
Yeah.
Love it.
It's like when the artist
Very
signs
their designer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I like it, but I think I'm gonna have to do more with this style just to play with, and that's the fun of it. Whatever yarn type you want, different weights, different colors. You can much options.
Yeah, exactly. Beautiful.
So much options. So many options.
Yes.
I do speak English.
Yes. All right, there we are again. Did you look up the Natural Confectionery Company YouTube videos?
I had way too much fun with that.
Okay, so if anybody hasn't seen it, were we talking about? Is it the last podcast?
I think it was after the last.
Okay,
podcast.
so it was after. So we were all muddled. We couldn't talk English, and I said, "Are you speaking English?" And Simone's like, "Okay, yeah, okay." So, and I was laughing hysterically. There's these commercials out of the UK from the Natural Confectionery Company. Okay. And they have all the little candy talks to each other, and and it was voiced by John Cleese.
Oh my goodness.
And they're just hilarious. So there's a rabbit hole. Frivolous rabbit hole viewing on Christmas Eve if you want something that's really funny.
Garbage for your brain.
Yeah, but it's really funny.
While you're eating your sticky candies.
Yes. It's just really, I don't know, I find it funny. It's so, I don't know when they were made, like quite a long time ago, I think, but it just is like such good, it makes you feel good. Yeah. But definitely want the candy. Yeah. Because the commercials are just so
you want candy
fun.
And you want to watch Faulty Towers.
I was just I'm going to have to go watch Faulty Towers.
Yeah, anyway, it was really, really funny. Okay, so, now it's already talked a little bit about your frame.
Yes.
But it's done.
So framed by Andrea Mowry, and this is knit in our Selkirk worsted in spruce, pearl, and bramble. Three of my favorite colors.
Right.
And I'm really happy with how it turned out. I did do some modifications, so I knit the body of the sweater a little bit longer. Just because I didn't want it quite so cropped, but I'm kind of living on the edge, so it's shorter than usual. But it's okay because I have my high-waisted jeans on.
Yeah. So we were laughing about the fact that high-waisted jeans are, she said, "Oh, I'm really rocking the style now, high-waisted jeans." I said, yes, I still have jeans that are high.
It's a little bit longer. I'm happy with that. And I increased the length here so that it would accommodate my shoulders. The arms are slightly larger as well. So I knit this portion in the round and I steeked it. In the pattern, it calls for knitting back and forth, but I just decided to.
You steeked the armholes?
Yes.
Go back 2 episodes if you want to hear all about that.
Because I had that panic moment where I thought I had a great big hole in my knitting and it was just actually the steek hole. So I steeked it and I went up a size for the arms. So this is the size 2 and I think I went up to size 3. Stitch-wise for the arms. I'm really happy that I did because I took a look through the Ravelry projects and I noticed that some of the projects featured had fairly tight upper arms and my upper arms are a little bit bigger, a lot bigger than Andrea Mowry's. So I wanted to, give myself some extra space. Right. And I'm very happy that I did.
I like to pay attention to that. I know that designers grade well and they take different body types and shapes into account. But I would say I have noticed when a designer is designing what they like and what they enjoy wearing. I do sometimes try to pay attention to those where I will look and I'll go, okay, she has much different shaped arms than I do. So not that it doesn't mean I can't knit the pattern. I just want to take that into account when I do, because I have larger upper arms. I know that's always a problem area for me, even in fast fashion. That for me is an area of consideration. So I do try to look at, and that's where I appreciate on Ravelry when you can see all the variety of body types that have knit it, and then you can make those judgments.
It tells you a lot. That's a good. It's a good tip to look at all of the projects before you embark on one, because you can see a lot by just seeing how it fits on different bodies and stuff like that. And if they've given notes, that's always helpful.
And so it's great when they choose their test knitters also that are a variety of sizes, heights, shapes. I really appreciate that too. As opposed to just kind of all one similar body type. It really helps.
Exactly.
And it's also about getting to know your own body too, right? And knitting to suit that. So just because somebody likes, you know, more fitted sleeves, because, you know, Andrea Mowry does. She tends to like more fitted sleeves, and for me that's not a comfortable thing. So I want a little bit more room. Or if you're a person that likes a more fitted, you know.
But you like the design. So
exactly.
you want to enjoy it. So
if you like a more fitted body, you can do that too. Because, you know, you just have to do a little math, do a little tweak here and there. And Bob's your uncle. You got a sweater custom made just for you.
Yeah, exactly. Great. Okay, and that's and then you have more projects.
I do.
Is it Dryad? Is that how you? Yes, Dryad.
So I finished that.
Oh, gorgeous!
It's
oh my goodness! Look at this.
Ooh.
And it's so drapey and soft. This wool is exceptional.
The color is amazing.
So this is natural black.
Yeah. So this was from a friend's farm. I got the fleece right off the sheep's back, and I washed and carded and spun the wool and turned it into this scarf here. It's Dryad by Jared Blood. It's funny, actually, I've had this pattern in my queue for years. And I just never quite had the right yarn for it. But whenever I was spinning up this yarn, it was like, I know what it wants to be. It wants to be this scarf.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
So I'm really happy with how it turned out. And it's kind of it's a little bit heathery too, which is nice.
It's really, it's almost tweed, but it's natural.
So that's because the black sheep are really like dark chocolate brown, but there's the sun bleaches the tips, so when especially when you're hand processing, you still have those little flecks of the lighter red, kind of reddish brown, and that's they're bleached tips. Gorgeous. Ooh, this is gonna be nice.
It's very silky and soft. It's a Shetland cross, but I don't know, it's just
it's a lot softer than what I was expecting, because when you saw the yarn at first, it was nice, but this is a lot softer. It bloomed quite a lot too. And
I purposely decided to ply it less than ordinary, because I didn't want a ropey finished yarn.
Keep airy. Nice.
So I was really happy with how it turned out.
It's beautiful.
So that'll get wrapped up and sent on its way.
Lovely.
So Simone just has to learn how to shear, and then
I'm
you
not
can
shearing.
Then you can do everything.
I'll let Amber do it. I'll let Amber do it. I've seen her shear. No, thank you.
But it is something.
No, that is not something you can just decide you're going to do. Please. No sheep need to be treated properly.
So
that was 6 months in the making. I started the skirting and washing in July.
I was going to say, I remember the sunny day that you had it laid out drying in your backyard.
And it's so funny too, because Simkin always has to help with that. Raw wool is like catnip for him. He gets so excited. He dives right in the middle of it. He's rolling around. He's like, buddy, get out. And next thing you know, he's sneaking back in.
How would we craft and knit without our little furry friends?
I
love my little...
Mine little bits of ginger off
head on my foot these days while I'm knitting. It's just so sweet.
So 6 months.
Beautiful.
That was definitely a slow crafting experience, and I am not sorry about it. It was really nice to just kind of take my time
Yeah.
and do each step of the process.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lovely. And you've got lots of that wool left, I think.
I do.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that, I might even try blending some of it with the siblings.
Oh, okay.
So there's some that are kind of like a silvery gray.
Oh,
And
okay.
then there's some that are kind
The
of
other
cream.
sheep. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I think that, because I did come home with 5 feed bags
Oh.
full of wool.
Yeah.
If I was working with it, like one of those almost knee-length cardigans that just
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, that
in
would-
those kind of cables, and
Yeah.
It's very squishy.
on
Nice.
a cold morning, get up and just wrap that around
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Lovely. Okay. And then you started another project.
I did.
Yes.
All
I
right.
started this last night after supper because I had mentioned earlier that my kids keep losing their mittens. So I have one whole mitten done.
This is why Simone makes homemade mittens for
Yeah.
her kids, because she started it after dinner last night.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
So it's knit in Heatherdale Lopi.
yeah.
So I just kind of picked a smattering of
We don't
colors.
have
here.
this color left.
No.
that's natural.
That was stash, but we do have some Heatherdale Lopi.
Yeah.
But they fit so nice.
Oh,
Yeah, I tried it
yeah,
on too.
and the high,
But yet fitted, so it
Yes.
easily slides under the cuff of a coat.
gorgeous.
So
That's
tell us about the
my-
patterns.
Thick and quick Alaphus Lopi mitten pattern, and it's free on my website. But yeah, it's really,
Sand and
really
Sky
fast.
Creations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a really, really fast knit.
I don't think I've ever seen in person, the thick and quick.
Maybe not.
It's very quick. Would it be quick for me?
Yes.
So maybe you'll need like 2 evenings.
Yeah.
They are fast, and you'll notice Vicky would be so proud. I did my thumb right away.
Oh.
We both
What do you
kind
mean?
of
rather than leaving it.
yeah.
so-
We usually
okay.
leave it, but I wanted to like totally finish it. And
Yeah.
I'm
It
like,
has a gusset. I love gusset.
Yeah.
I just need a gusset.
I don't know. For some reason, when you knit a pair of mittens, it fits my hand perfectly.
I would say she does them typically narrower than you'll
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
But I like it because
Yeah.
it fits your hand then. You still feel like you're going to be able to do things
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are these a gift or just going in the
These
bag?
are going in the bag.
Okay.
Yeah. So I have a little bit of a stash of Heatherdale Lopi to work through.
Okay.
So I'm just going to knit mittens with it because we had that cone also
Yeah.
that went squirrely.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I'm going to use that for more mittens too.
Yeah. Okay.
And that way we'll have a good supply of them. And I know people are probably thinking like, oh, they're so plain. But
No.
Oh no.
I
No,
really
no.
love these. They're good, like
Yeah.
just workhorse mittens.
I don't. The gusset is. This is really well designed because it looks like it's just deep enough. It's perfect. It goes right in there.
She's got, it's a really good fit.
I made them to fit my hands.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
then I guess.
So
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know if our hands. They're not yours are a little bit
longer. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Really nice.
But
Okay.
even me, with my giant, we should show my hand now against Kim's,
Oh.
they still fit
Oh.
beautifully. Like, it's impressive.
There's something about it. The
Yeah.
design. Yeah.
They just
okay.
immediately whoop,
Yeah.
to the hand
And
Yeah.
I also have the cuff
of the
Done.
next one.
of the next one. So they are really fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and yes, looking at, rolled up yarn, there's some chunk there.
Yeah.
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 That's good. So this is when you use Lopi, it's a dual coated sheep. So we leave the 2 different fibers in it, so it makes a really nice warm, but durable yarn.
Yeah.
And I think we could say water resistant. I'm not going to
Yes.
say waterproof,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
water resistant.
Yeah,
for
they're
sure.
definitely not waterproof.
No.
I put that to the test.
Yeah, but water resistant.
Yeah.
So the first snowball you pick up, you don't have to worry about suddenly being soaked
So if
through.
you accidentally drop it in the bucket,
Oh, okay.
then it's not so waterproof.
Yeah. But lucky for you, wool still retains warmth,
It
even
does.
when it's wet.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I don't have problems putting my hands in buckets of water. So
No, yeah. Okay, so now we're going to talk about spinning.
Yes.
So,
okay, I'm gonna settle in here.
yes.
I forgot to take this out of the bag. Do you want to show yours first?
Oh, yeah, okay. All right. So, I I finished my 2 bobbins of, I get called this grape soda, but not the color of grape soda like what we have. So I have these 2 done.
It's so fun.
It's really fine. It's and that's not the kind of yarn that I particularly want, but I just can't help myself. I just been fine. Anyway, I'm gonna have to try it. That will be my next thing. I'll have to try to go thicker.
It's hard.
Yeah,
it is. Once you get used to spinning really fine, trying to do a thicker yarn, it takes brain power.
Yes, exactly. Anyway, so I have that done. And by the time you're watching this, we will have plied it on my new Lazy Kate, and we'll show a little clip of that here. So that's it, because I was supposed to finish it last Friday or Thursday, and they never got to it.
Away from us.
Yeah, it's just been crazy. Okay, because I've been working on next year's Fiber Festival too at the same time, which I'll tell you about after. So I still don't know. So these are the skeins that I already did. So this was the beautiful had silk in it from Sweet Georgia. So, but it was purples and rose and gorgeous braid. Not that thrilled about the fact that it just now, it's beautiful, but you don't see the pops. Doing a fractal spin does mute the pops of color, I think. Sometimes, yeah. So unless I didn't do it right. I don't know.
You did
but
it right.
That's it. Yeah. Okay. So that's that. But it's definitely a lace weight. So before we started recording, I was saying to Simone, I think I might have to hold it double. And then she said, oh, but you could put kid silkays with it. And I said, yes. Okay. That's perfect.
And then you could choose something that will either kind of keep it the same, mute it more, or you could add something that will put the pop back in there that you wanted.
So now this is a bit of a mishmash. So I'm gonna try not to worry about it. But I had these 2 bobbins almost done, and I did them as singles, and I was going to they're singles, of course. And they waited so long on the bobbin that there was actually no life left to them at all. So I skeined them up without plying them, and I'll knit them together. Yeah, because to ply them, it would have just been nothing. Like they wouldn't have really twisted properly. And then I did the last finishing up one is actually a skein. Yeah, not a very good one, but that's what. Definitely hand spun.
You're so critical of your hands.
Yeah, well,
it's lovely.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. This is very soft. I can't even remember what I think it was
BFL silk.
In this one?
That one was BFL silk for sure.
Yeah.
And that one seems like it has some silk in it too, because there's a little bit of shine.
Yeah.
Have you ever knit with your hand spun before?
Yes, I actually maybe I'll dig it out. I have it was a Stephen West I loved it.
Queen's Garden.
Yes. So Belfast Mini Mills used to do spinning bats called the Queen's Garden, and it's mostly green, but with these little pops of color in it. It had to be the most popular one that they had.
I think I still have one in my stash.
Oh, do you?
I think so.
I love it. Yeah. It was really, really nice. And I spun that and I plied it. And I decided that I wanted to learn to do continental knitting because I was a thrower before that. And I picked, it must be one of the first patterns that Stephen West did. It's called the Pearl Ridge Cowl. You cast on 380 stitches and you knit in the round, and it's just knitting and purling in ridges, basically. Okay. So, and I promised myself that I would have to do it in continental knitting. And I can tell you by the time I finished it, I knew how to do continental knitting. You just had to keep practicing. Yeah. It was a perfect project to do that.
All right, pull it out.
Yeah, I'll show it on the next episode. Yeah. Yeah, I love it. I wear it quite often, actually. Yeah. So,
and you can always tell just by the color and the little tiny flecks of color through it. Yeah. Because it's like this beautiful green and little tiny flecks of color.
Yeah, it's really nice. Yeah. Okay, so that's that. So then, so now the idea was that I was going to do some kind of a shift. Yes. One of the shift projects. Okay. And, but now I have these sparkly bats from the Fiber Festival from Lewis and Jane. Yes. And I don't know if I want to use them with this.
But it'd be so fun. Are you sure? The same kind of colors with sparkles.
Okay. Yeah. All right. But I feel like I think I can do a better job on it. But I guess once it's knit up, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, this is what I was actually getting at with asking you, have you knit with your hands spun? Yeah. I think by the time you knit it, much of what you're critiquing here is
You're not
going
gonna
to
notice
just
it.
disappear. Yeah, it's just part of the
And
thing,
especially
so,
with the
yeah.
mosaic too, which is supposed to be textured.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That just adds to the fun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So now we're adding Kid Silk Haze to one. We're doing the other two, knitting two together, and then whatever will happen there, and then I'll have sparkles.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like a
gonna-
spinner sampler study. There
yes,
you go.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing. I'm doing a spinner sampler study with different kinds of fiber.
And
it'll
we
be-
were talking about that this morning too.
And it'll
Yeah.
be something someday.
Yeah.
And we were talking about it because I have some leftovers, but they're not all the same yarns.
Yeah.
And I really struggle with the idea of putting these yarns from
together.
different families together. And Simone's like, just do it.
Yeah,
like,
I
just
know
go for
you're
it.
fearless.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, I said to Betsy, like, worst case scenario, you rip it out.
true.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
I'm also thinking to meet it halfway would be if I take the same kid silk and feed it all the way through. At least I
yeah.
have something then
Continuity,
that is,
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
what I might have to do.
Okay.
So we'll see.
All right. Wow.
Yeah.
The new year's going to be exciting. Hey, and what do
Ideas,
you?
ideas.
Yeah.
I've got a new spin.
Yes.
On the go.
Ooh.
And it's
I was going to say we haven't seen.
England Oak Fibers.
Mhm.
It's called Fluorite, and it's 50% merino, 25% flax, and
Oh.
25% tusset silk. So this is how it's shaping up here. Oh yeah. So the flax is a little crispy,
Yeah.
but it softens up a lot with washing and wear.
Oh, okay.
It's a really, really fun fiber preparation. This is eventually going to go into my traveler cowl because or traveler shawl,
yeah.
because I decided that the green was just too green. I needed more color variance.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to use that for another project, and this will be going in its stead.
So can I just feel how it feels? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You can feel the flax.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So and that there is actually little pieces of it.
Yeah.
So then this will be like a linen.
Yeah.
So obviously.
Yeah.
So you'll as you wear it and use it, it'll soften right up.
Yeah.
Because it has luster in the other
does,
because
yeah.
of the silk and everything. So
Yeah.
it's an interesting combination.
It is. I'm really, really loving it. I
Yeah.
think this is the 4th bump
Oh,
that
okay.
I've spun of this particular
Prep.
prep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe even the 5th.
Oh.
Yeah. I like it a lot. And I don't mind the like crispiness of the linen at all because I know it's going to soften.
So what part of the spinning wheel what for flax is it not Cinderella, the Rapunzel?
No, Cinderella.
Cinderella.
Yeah. She supposedly pricked her finger on the spindle, which
no,
would have been,
ladies.
you
That's
know,
Aurora.
depends upon which version. You're going with the Disney version.
Cinderella doesn't prick her finger.
Sleeping Beauty.
Sleeping
Aurora,
Beauty.
Sleeping Beauty.
Yes,
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 she's
yes.
Aurora.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So Sleeping Beauty pricks her finger on the spindle of a spinning wheel. And
How
it's
do you prick your finger on it?
on the old ones, they would just have a sharp point.
I asked her this exact
Yes.
question a few months ago.
Oh,
Then we
okay.
looked it up, and if
Yeah.
you look at the picture of the old ones, you'll see where the spindle is and what.
Yeah.
You said something about like they spun off the tip of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So they had like a wicked sharp point.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. And what is the when you get a spinning wheel, there is a special thing. What's it called? A distaff or a
Distaff,
distaff? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. No, that's
No.
a separate piece, and that's where you would have bound your fiber. So
Oh, okay.
you can just spin off that.
Okay.
And that way you don't have to keep grabbing little handfuls.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
just like a fiber holder.
Kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
but that's not sharp. So
No.
we
This
have to
reminds
make-
me more of Rumpelstiltskin,
Yeah.
where you're spinning the flax into gold.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to get called Rumpelstiltskin every once in a while at the farmer's market.
Yeah.
Like the Sleeping Beauty one, I was okay with. Rumpelstiltskin, I was like, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
not so great.
No. No. Okay.
So yeah, it's a fun fiber prep, and yeah, I'm looking forward to finishing the spinning so that I can get knitting on that too.
Yeah.
It was
Cool.
a commentary on your skill, not your character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spinning straw and gold.
Yes.
Bringing out all the fairy tales here.
Yeah. Okay.
can't believe that I thought Cinderella.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I didn't know.
Awful. So good.
My excuse
She's
is
the
I don't
poor
have
girl in
kids.
the ashes.
Yeah.
I'm only being a bug about this because I just recently listened to on audiobook. It was a free version of the like actual Grimm's brothers
Oh yeah.
stories,
Yeah.
and they are quite different than Disney. Disney definitely took some
Yeah.
Artistic
license,
license,
to
Well,
yes.
because they
or
were
to
grim.
soften things down.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that would be cool. Maybe I'm gonna
Very
go hunt
interesting,
for used books, the Grimm fairy tales.
Oh, it's so worth
The
it.
original
Yeah.
ones.
So worth it.
Yeah.
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 Oh, cool.
Snow White's story, I think I found the most different.
Oh yeah.
Where like literally by the end of it, I was like, girl, come on.
Red is Blood by Tanith Lee is it's a little compilation of fairy tales but with twists.
Oh, okay.
Unexpected twists.
Okay.
Oh.
Here we are
So,
back to the
yeah.
books again.
Yeah.
That's a really good one. I've read it a few times and I can't stop reading it. It's fun.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I actually said to Simone one day that we should search out every fairy tale that has spinning or knitting in
Yeah.
it. And I would love to just have, as part of my library, all the children's stories that I think I was naming off some, even not necessarily fairy tales, but there was one my sister had as a kid, Socks for Supper. I don't know if you know what that one
No,
is.
I've never heard of that.
It's cute. I won't go into it, but
Yeah.
if you can look it up and see if you can find it, it's a cute one. There's just so many
Yeah.
that it's not like the knitting or the spinning isn't the main part of the story,
No.
but it plays an integral part
Yeah.
into it. So
Yeah.
it's so fun.
Yeah.
Love it.
Cool. All right. So is that it?
I think so.
That's it. We went everywhere today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all over the place.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have no idea what the harmony part is going to be.
They like it every time.
Yeah.
I don't think
It worked
Yeah.
out well last time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say this, but I'm just laughing about it. So yes, those were spots on my window that I took.
Oh!
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a little bit cheeky and be like, maybe you should wash your screen.
Yeah.
Ouch. Sorry. I'm a nice person. I really am.
Yeah, so in the last episode, I showed dark clouds and I had this really dramatic music. And when I was editing it, I could see these little spots. And I was like, you know, every now and then you do have a day that you have like snow showers here.
True.
So there's sun and there's black clouds
Yeah.
and then there's these little snow showers. And I said, that's it. So yes, but somebody commented,
Yep.
are those dirty windows or whatever it was? I can't remember exactly.
Speaking of children's books, there's another one I used to read to my little girls that was all about a lady who wants to get married. She's a little bit older in life when she chooses to get married. And she actually, like, the caveat in her marriage contract is, I don't do windows.
Oh, yeah.
She basically tells them, if you want clean windows, do
Yeah.
it yourself.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah. All right, so I think that's it. So try not to be too stressed out over the next 2 weeks. We will be back in 2 weeks' time because we've got a schedule about how we're going to manage that when we're whatever. I should say too before I go, I should have said this in the shop update, is that Canada Post is on strike. We ship with UPS. If you've got last minute gifts that you have to give, then our shipping has not been affected, thankfully.
Yeah.
So
UPS is still at our door daily. So
yeah,
it's all
exactly.
Good. Yeah.
So anyway, so have a wonderful 2 weeks. And like I said, don't try to get stressed out. Drink the eggnog. Eat the chocolates. Yeah.
And cast on the frivolous.
Yeah.
I like that. There we go.
We're a little bit planned for Christmas Eve.
Yes.
Yes. All right. So we'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye.
Thank you.